Hello,
Hello.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is Sunny, right?
Yep,
Hi there. Nice to meet you too. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you for asking.
Hmm.
So, by the way, did you have your dinner?
Yes, I already finished my dinner.
Okay, great. So
How
you're
about
ready for
you?
our perhaps I will be having my dinner after my shift,
Mm-hmm.
so later on. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So, I suppose you're quite ready for our class tonight. Did you prepare for any article for tonight?
Yes. Or could you share our topic, like our articles?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure how to do it, but uh, let let me see what I can do. What article are you did you choose for tonight?
Um, where I forgot the title of the article, and since I didn't. Can I say that I
Okay,
didn't?
let me walk through you. Let me walk through. Let me walk you through the topics here, so it might help you remember. So for beginner, female astronaut. Number
Mm.
two, Antarctica penguins. Number three, parasite wins Oscar.
Sorry?
Those parasite wins Oscar.
Uh, and
Okay,
what is the second article?
Antarctica penguins.
Uncertain.
Antarctica penguins.
Ah, penguins.
Yeah,
And
this is the reduction of their population way back from the 1970s or the
uh,
1700s.
ah,
Okay, so for intermediate,
mm-mm,
blind regains sight, North Sea Dam, bouncy pavements, planetary formation theory. Those are for intermediate. And for advanced, we have here Bernie Sanders, foldable flip phones, and Chef of the Poor.
mm,
Okay, so if you
okay.
have any choices, I
Oh,
will be able. Mhm.
okay. Wait a minute, please. Film and strong penguins. Mm,
Take your time.
yeah, or we can talk about just penguin.
Okay, penguins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that. I remember that I already read this article. Mm,
Oh, great. Okay. Uh, for a while.
yeah. So could you prepare some answer questions?
Yes, yes.
Mm-mm.
Let me just copy it.
But you don't need to share that article to me.
Oh, it's okay. So that we can
Yeah.
actually go over
Mm-mm.
some words here or go into some details. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start. Can you tell me about this article? Why did you choose it?
Because I also have a experience to see some articles which is all about the penguins who already died, and
Oh.
the number of the penguins are decreasing because of temperature, like environmental problem. So hmm, so I started to get interested in the penguin and also the high temperature in Arctic. And
Hmm.
how can I how can I s- how can I read it?
Antarctica.
Yeah, Antarctic.
Ka. So this is actually found in the Antarctic region, but they call the place where the penguin actually dwells Antarctica.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the region is Antarctic region.
Mm-mm.
Okay, please continue.
Yep, that's all.
Okay, So we have your words that might help us. So before we proceed to the vocab, let's just go through. So we have here 75% in the last 50 years.
Mm-mm.
This is actually very alarming.
Mm-mm.
Let's say there are 100 penguins,
Mm.
and for the past 50 years, only 25 remains. So
Oh.
it's very alarming that their population is actually decreasing very fast for the
Oh.
past 50 years. So let's try to estimate
Mm-mm.
how many penguins will, what percentage of penguins will be left after 100 years, right?
After 100 years, well,
They may,
mm,
they may, yeah, be
mm,
phased out or
insects.
extinct, right?
Yeah, they can be extinct.
Okay,
Or,
so,
or
or,
if we can make the new technology to protect our Earth very well, then I think that we can stop decreasing the penguin.
okay.
Mm-mm. What do you think
Um,
about it? Like the new technology?
New technology, I think it is more into new laws,
Mm-mm.
laws for the Senate to protect these penguins. Like if you kill a penguin,
Mm-mm.
or if you, yeah, because people are eating penguin's egg.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're eating it. It's like a trans transparent or translucent egg, and they're eating it. Let me just show you a picture,
Mm,
okay?
yeah.
Of the penguin eggs.
They're eating the penguin's egg. Oh, it is so. I feel really sorry. Because
Yes, so
since the penguins are suffering from the extinction and the environmental problem, but so we needed to protect them. But however, if there's a person who are eating the penguin's eggs,
yeah.
mm-mm, then I think that it is very not good.
So check this out.
Oh,
See,
really?
they are boiling it. That's
Oh,
that's how a penguin end looks like.
oh,
And
okay.
then they are selling it for a very, expensive price. This is one of the
Oh,
exotic food.
oh, really? It is not
Yeah.
expensive.
Uh,
Mm. But I,
now this.
mm,
Mhm.
but I think that in Korea, I've never seen the eggs of the penguin.
Mhm. Because
So,
you're not supposed to see those things.
mm,
It's usually protected by their parents.
mm,
However, people from, I'm not particularly sure where, but they are able to get the eggs,
mm.
and penguins will kill to protect their eggs. So they might
Oh,
actually
mm-mm,
neutralize first the penguins before they collect the eggs, and then they are selling it in a restaurant
mm-mm,
like this one.
mm-mm,
So yeah, even ostrich eggs.
mm-mm.
So would you like to taste the uh,
This
penguin's
food?
egg? This is
Mm,
supposed to be two cute little penguins,
yeah,
but
but
then they became food.
but I don't want to try. I think that it might
Yeah, this
be
is illegal, by the way.
yeah illegal, and I think that the taste of the eggs will be same. Will be I think will similar with some just chicken's eggs.
Yes. So
Mm-mm.
the eggs is usually like bigger than a chicken's egg,
Mm.
but then this is how it looks like when they cook it. It's not
Mm.
white, it's translucent.
It really looks like no. When I see this
It looks like
picture,
rubbery, right?
lobbery.
Yes,
What is the lobbery?
rubbery.
Lobbery?
Can you type that one, please?
Yep.
You mean lottery?
Lottery. It would be the creature in the sea.
Mm,
A lottery. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, I got it. Uh-uh.
okay.
I
So,
thought that
mhm.
um the lobster,
Oh,
the
lobster.
pronunciation, the lobster and lottery is quite similar. So I understood the lottery as lobster.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so this is a uh, added the different meaning. So lobster. Okay. So you mean this taste has a similar taste of the
Oh, no,
lobster's
no, no.
meat? Okay.
Just eggs. Yeah, yeah, yes.
I think I lost you there.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So the colony since 1971, it had been decreasing in a very fast manner. So
Mm-mm.
we have also the krill. Because of the krill, actually, these are the things that they eat.
Mm-mm.
However, when it comes to the competition that added as well to their um, population decrease,
Mm-mm.
large fishes and seabirds are also trying to compete with their food,
Mm-mm.
especially that their place is getting smaller.
Mm-mm.
So the polar ice caps are actually melting where they
Mm-mm.
usually stay. So their ecosystem is actually getting smaller and
Mm-mm.
smaller. That will
Mm-mm.
also decrease their population. So
Mm-mm.
you suggested earlier that
Mm-mm.
if we can make new technology to protect our
Mm-mm.
surroundings,
Mm-mm.
do you have any suggestions?
Suggestion? What
Yeah,
suggestion about technology?
suggestion. Yes, the technology that might eventually
Mm.
protect this species.
Oh well, if there is some well, the big place for the penguin, or if we can make a fake wind, or if we have a chance to make like the fake something, and which will really helpful for to um, stop
Mm.
increasing the temperature.
Yes, I
Mm.
actually thought about that one when I was in elementary school,
Mm-mm.
since it became an issue that global warming is actually
Mm-mm. Global
very
warming.
um, uh, let's say it impacts everything.
Mm-mm.
Why don't scientists make
Mm-mm.
a very huge cooling mechanism
Mm.
to
Yeah, yes.
stabilize the temperature in
Mm.
both polar caps?
Mm.
So that's the North Pole and the South
Yeah.
Pole.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
So
I also thought that if
yes,
there is some
why
new.
not they make a very
Mm-mm.
very long tube? So
Mm.
it's like this, and this is the surface. They can just place it under the
Mm.
ice, and then it can decrease the temperature,
Mm.
right? So
Yep.
it will just um, consistently maintain the temperature in the North Pole and the South Pole so that ice won't melt.
Yep.
Oh, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
giant refrigerator, right?
Ah, yeah, giant
A giant fridge.
refrigerator. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Giant
So
fridge.
mm, so this is like a giant fridge, but not necessarily a giant fridge, but its mechanism
Mm-mm.
will freeze everything. I'm not really
Mm.
sure. Are they not working on this one?
Mm. I
Mm,
also heard that the polar bear are
mm,
also suffering from the global warming,
yes.
and the
Um,
iceberg was melt away. So, like sometimes the polar bear was killed by the iceberg because iceberg the melt away, and some part of the like big part of the iceberg will fall down to the ground.
yeah. Mm,
So some
they
polar
were crushed.
bear, yeah, crushed. So some polar bear was hit by the iceberg. Is that right?
Yes,
Yes.
they were
Mm-mm.
buried.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
buried. Mm-mm.
So let me show you another picture here. This is
Mm-mm.
actually a picture of a
Oh.
polar bear. They have nowhere to go. It's supposed to be
Oh.
filled with ice, and now they are
Oh, this water.
everything. Yeah, there's water everywhere.
Oh, very deep water. And
Yes.
also I saw a picture. Um, some of the polar bear became very skinny polar bear.
Yes.
Like we thought that the polar bear will be very big and huge and the fat,
Mm,
but the other polar bear was very skinny.
because they have nothing to eat, and they
Yeah,
were
nothing to
exposed
eat.
to the sun.
Yeah, it is right.
Okay, so the life of a polar bear was actually very complicated because
Mm-mm,
when the mother gives birth to their child,
mm-mm,
she has to stay away from the father
mm.
because the father will eventually eat
Oh,
his
really?
son. Yes.
Oh.
So I watched this actually to from a geographic channel. So
Mm-hmm.
when the mother is actually pregnant, she has to travel as far as she could
Oh,
from
really?
the father because when she gives birth,
Mm-mm.
the father will eat
Oh.
because it's a form of the competition. These
Mm.
polar bears will eventually grow and compete with the father when it comes to their food and survival. So they are
Oh.
actually eating their cubs.
Wow, this is my first time to hear about it.
Yeah, so
Why that the father are trying to eat the baby's polar bear because they don't have no food, any food
uh,
to it, or
not not necessarily. It might they are trying to decrease the competition for future. Like this,
ah
if it's
really?
a male polar bear, like for
Uh-uh.
the lions,
Mm-mm.
it's familiar with the lion setting.
Mm-mm.
That if a male lion will come to another territory, it will kill all the cubs,
Oh really?
and it will only um, let he will only let his cubs stay alive.
Mm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
a similar thing because they don't want male competition.
Oh.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So what if that polar bear, the baby's polar bear is girl, then the father will not kill her?
I'm not particularly sure about
Mm,
that one, but
mm-mm,
as of with the mother polar bear,
mm-mm,
regardless of the gender of the cub, she will stay very far from the daddy, from his dad.
mm-mm, mm-hmm.
So she will raise
Okay.
it for the next 8 years,
Mm-mm,
and then if it's good to go,
mm-mm.
they will eventually separate ways.
Oh,
You cannot actually
so,
see polar
mm-mm,
bears sticking around together like a colony
mm,
or a group of polar bears, right? They want
uh-huh.
to stay apart.
Oh,
Mm.
so if the woman be pregnant, then
Hmm.
the relationship between the father and mother will
Yes.
be broken.
So they will
Mm-hmm.
just have their mating season and then they will
Mm.
separate. And then here
Oh.
comes another mating season. They will come together and then
Mm-mm.
separate.
Oh.
Okay. Now, if you
Interesting.
now,
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's why if you can watch some documentaries about
Mm-mm.
polar bears,
Mm-mm.
they don't go together with the whole pack. They will
Oh.
separate. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
a mother and a cub
Mm-mm.
that just you can see staying together, and
Mm.
two male polar bears killing each other for the mate.
Mm.
So it's kind of complicated. That's why their survival or mortality rate is kind of uh, low because of
Mm.
this way of survival that they are making.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
this
they might
is
be extinct like
interesting.
the grizzly bears. What
Mm.
type of bear was actually extinct in the wild? There are type of bears that were actually extinct
Mm.
because they
Mm.
have similar lifestyle with the polar bears.
Okay, it is very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't sleep during the night because I'm watching the life cycle of polar bears, penguins, lions,
Mm-mm.
leopards. It's very,
I
yeah.
also know that I forgot the word of the animal. Hamster. The
Mm,
hamster are also if like whether that hamster is the woman or the man,
mm-hmm.
that hamster will eat their babies.
Mm,
So I one of my friends. one of my friends they raised around the 5 or 6 hamster,
Mhm.
and there was pregnant the hamster, and the next day there was 4 or 5 babies in that cage, and my friends realized that the mother hamster ate
Oh
all
my
of
god.
them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is very
I
weird and
I used to
scared.
have, oh, that's why. I used to have a pet hamster before. There are
Mm-mm.
two of them.
Mm-mm.
And why is it that they are not increasing in number? So they have been staying
Mm.
for me for like 4 years.
Oh.
Maybe that's why. So they just give birth and then they will eat their. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So sad. So at that time, my friends and I was only 7 years old or 8 years old. So we
Mm.
feel very afraid of like seeing very cute hamster because we feel that the hamster is not cute anymore. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's because it's the children. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I was very shocked
Mm.
by their lifestyle of hamster.
Yeah, but then they can actually increase in number very fast. Perhaps
Mm-mm.
there's just proper place for them to stay,
Mm,
like fishes. Fishes don't realize that they are eating their children actually,
mm-mm,
or what they call the baby fish or baby fish, because
mm-mm.
they just open their mouth and the small fishes enter their mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes. I know
So
also. Mm-mm.
after they lay their eggs, you have to remove the adults so that they won't eat
Mm-mm.
their
Yeah,
children.
yes. We can protect the
Yes.
babies.
So,
Mm-hmm.
the same thing will actually should same thing should happen. These animals are actually, of course, they are dangerous, but
Mm-mm.
they look lovely and they look cute,
Yeah,
and
they are
they
so
form
cute.
part of our ecosystem. So if
Mm.
they will be gone, something's wrong will happen, might happen. So I
Mm-mm.
think the government or the whole world
Mm.
should talk about
Yeah, I
these
should talk about
things.
this thing.
So
Mm-mm.
they should do something. Okay,
Mm-mm.
gases. I'm not really sure. So I think.
Mm-mm.
What do you think about the Earth status right now? Does it have hope in recovering?
Sorry?
What do you think about the status of
This sorry, this
our
status?
world?
Our
Yeah,
word?
yeah,
Hmm.
or our world.
Yeah, I think
Does it
that
have hope in recovering from
there
climate
are
change
many
and global warming?
happens. I
Hmm.
think there are many happens uh, for the nature, like the word fire,
Yeah,
like
wildfires.
this. But this is we can stop the word of fire right away because the fire is very huge and a very serious thing. So
Yeah,
I think that like few days ago there was a very word of fire in Australia.
yes, even in the
But
Philippines.
oh yes, I heard that in
Mm.
the Philippines there was a big
It
fire.
it burned like 200 hectares of pine trees.
Oh
My
really?
goodness, that's a lot of trees.
Mm-mm. So yeah, I
Imagine
think that.
200 hectares of forest
Mm-mm.
burned in Australia, right?
Oh yes. So I think that for stopping this situation from happening or from recovering right away,
Hmm.
we also needed to be prepared, be ready for um, going to that place as soon as possible with the
Hmm.
helicopters. Or,
Yes.
so,
Okay. Yeah, because it will eventually decrease again
mm-mm,
wildlife,
mm-mm.
because that's one ecosystem of animals, various types of animals, like 2 million species in that forest, and they will just burn
Oh,
alive.
yeah, burned a lot. Mm-mm,
So the same thing happens here.
mm-mm,
Penguins, polar bears, wildfires,
mm.
everything is happening, everything is
Yeah,
bad. So it has
and
all. Mhm.
yeah, everything like every. one of the causes is the people, is the human being.
Yes. Yeah, we
So
are the problem here, right?
yeah, we are the problem. So we
Yeah.
also took responsibility about the aftercare.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Because we will eventually profit from everything. We profit
Mm-mm.
from everything. That's why, yeah, distraction is always made by humans.
Mm-mm.
hmm So I think these things happen not in a man-made fault. It's not a natural event. So
Mm-mm.
I think the real problem here is that we can only save um, humanity by
Mm-mm.
lessening humanity.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's like an irony, but then, yeah, I think it works. It might work eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. So, by the way, and as much as I want to discuss more things about you with
Mm-mm.
our article for tonight,
Mm-mm.
our time is up. So,
Yep.
I'm really thankful for you taking my class tonight
Thank
and for your
you.
insights as well. Okay.
Thank you. Have
Okay.
a
Do you have any questions?
no, I don't have.
Okay.
Have a
So, thank you and have a great night.
have a great
Happy
night. Bye
weekend.
bye.
Bye.